Hello, how's it going? It's Monday. Yeah, there's like plenty of things going on, to be honest with you. And it's like, once I recollect everything that has happened to some degree, I kind of have to like analyze like psychologically what is really happening in some environments because like you can look at it from an emotional perspective, basically. And whenever I look at it in plenty of perspectives, I kind of like end up having a little bit of like a mental like unraveling, basically, because it's like when I try to like unravel every maze that people kind of make in order for people to take action into something, and the actions prior to that, and the motive that some actions kind of like take place, it kind of makes me think that it's just like, to some degree, like, in all irony, on my position, to stop action is to concede defeat towards a worse world, actually. Like, in all irony, that's kind of the thing, because it's like the more that I kind of think about it, the more I kind of like think to myself, yeah, well, ultimately speaking, that is really like the biggest flaw that we're like going through, because it's like I'm in too deep at this point, and like emotionally speaking, it just is a reinforcement for people to continue. And it's like, once I kind of read into the media and the modern media that has been going on and the things that happened afterward, it kind of makes sense that there's some level of complacency that has made that complacency make the world a worse place, basically. What do I mean by this? It's like art, like, here's the thing about art. Art imitates life, and life imitates art to some degree, basically. And like, gaming is a form of art to some degree. So we can have to look at it from a symbolic symptom that whenever we see something happening in the world, basically, we always see certain cycles, certain patterns of behavior in the societies that we live. And it's like, when we actually take a look at what the cycles are kind of telling us to some degree, is like starting like the 2010s, publicly, it became this kind of pattern of behavior where it's like, you must eat each other alive in public in order for you to have a good moral standpoint above everybody else. And it's like, once you actually think about it from that perspective, YouTube started like around 2008, like into the like YouTuber kind of sphere. If you think about it from that perspective, the YouTube media started like around 2008. Then it progressed through 2010, and in 2010 it continued with this kind of narcissistic methodology of like having like it had a natural progression of things when it came to art, and that free art became more imitating of life as it became more prevalent, basically. And it's like, if we actually look at it from the artistic standpoint and the psychology of the world progressing through 2010 to 2020 and 2026, if you actually look at it, the patterns of behavior that the art has taken place, there are some companies within the art cycles that ultimately became complacent and ultimately became too safe, that that whenever like death, quote unquote, left the battlefield, everything became worse as a consequence. Because symbolically speaking, when you actually look at it, death in itself, in psychology in its own way, isn't always necessarily like the end. Well, it can be a rebirth to begin with. And when you actually look at it from that perspective, it's just like, because people avoided change to some degree, people ultimately became complacent with the things that followed after that. And it's like, whenever you refuse to confront death, or you defeat death, and things get worse as a consequence, then it kind of shows what is truly happening in the cycles of the mind, basically. Kind of shows what is actually happening in some castles of development. What is going in those mental castles, those mental palaces, because like you kind of think about it and you're like, yeah, well, suddenly I don't care because I don't care about anything. I just became complacent because I have won against death, and because I have won against death, I have nothing to worry about. I'm in my little castle, forever isolated in that place, and that's fine. Now, here's the thing, though. Just because you became complacent doesn't mean that the other person is going to be complacent as well. And what we're observing in the 2010s, basically, in the 2020s, I want to say like between 2015 and 2025, really, I want to say that period of 10 years. What really has happened in the world specifically is like the Zillennials, and I'm going to say this as a Zillennial myself. Zillennials are full of imbeciles, actually. Like, I'm not even joking. Zillennials are full of imbeciles because we had it too good during a time where Google was just kicking off, and we are a bunch of imbeciles because we think that we have the answer to everything, because the answer is one Google search away, basically. And it's like what we're seeing as a consequence of this Zillennial like wave in particular. What we're seeing is a drop in literacy because now the Zillennials are having kids to some degree. I mean, they were having kids like probably like starting like 10 years ago, I want to assume, basically. But it's kind of like, here's the thing that kind of makes me think about it in the most accurate way possible. That it's just like, what has Google been doing this very, very moment that has been to support the development of brains to be able to have some level of internal criticism? Not a lot, actually, because like if we actually look at it from the perspective of like who gets the rights to watch what exactly, we kind of like see ourselves getting cornered into kind of like a world of optimism, where that optimism is like, oh yeah, you get to meet new people from other cultures, and if you forge social bonds with those kind of cultures, you will have a more peaceful world as a consequence. It's like, that was very optimistic to some degree, basically. Very, very optimistic. And to some degree, it has worked half of the time. But the other half of the time, it has done incredible harm, basically, because it kind of has caused this kind of system where it's just like, yeah, well, we're gonna cancel you because you're not acting as we wish, as the community wishes that you act, and because of that, we're gonna cancel you. We're gonna put you on the blast. We're gonna make you put a pretty little dress, and you're gonna dance for us, and you're gonna be forever humiliated in your little pathetic life, basically. And it's like when I look at it from the perspective of the human beings that are Selenials, I kind of have to look at it as Selenials being the ultimate imbeciles in that regard, because they would rather dress somebody in a dress and humiliate them publicly through sheer manipulation of the body itself, through mental suggestion. And I kind of like think about it from that perspective, and I'm like, so you're an imbecile and a malicious, well, not only an imbecile, you're a malicious imbecile. Because what you're doing is harming the very communities that have maintained your community to begin with. And it's like when I actually look at it from that perspective, really, is like when I look at the communities and how they're acting in particular with their cycles of behavior, I kind of like sit down a little bit and it's like, who's trying to save face at this point? Because like, okay, something happened and it's like, hoo, he, somebody died because of this consequence. And it's like, I don't think that's funny, actually. I don't think that's hilarious even. That somebody has died because like something terrible has happened. I don't think that's funny, to be honest with you. But that's kind of the thing when it comes to like the Selenial and what it means to be a Selenial to some degree, because like now you have the Selenial generation continuing being imbeciles and giving their 3-year-old an iPad so that they get a more stupid child that is not going to be the problem. And the only thing that they're going to do as a consequence is force an even tighter belt around their neck towards their liberties, because they're telling the system that the system should take care of their kids instead of them themselves. So sometimes I kind of like sit thinking to myself that it's like, if you're a Zillennial and you have kids, do not leave your fucking 5-year-old on a tablet, you absolute fucking retard. Because like at that point, what you're saying is just like, yeah, no, you're making your child a potential slave to a technocrat, so that so every time that the technocrat himself says something, he can obey specifically the words that the technocrat is saying. I was like, oh yeah, well, what if your child suddenly becomes a martyr for the technocrat, for the sacrifice of the better good at that point? What if the technocrat decides that they don't like the race that you are? What if you're black and the technocrat says, I don't like black people, I think that we should exterminate them. So I'm going to feed the black child with a lot of resentful propaganda towards the place that they live and make them be as self-destructive as possible so that they become the scapegoat and the black community ends up dying. I was like, that is not the first time that has happened in America. It wasn't the first and it wasn't the last. Same thing with the Asian communities as well. It's like, yeah, well, the reason why Asian communities have a little bit of an advantage is because of Japanese pornography, basically. Like, I'm gonna be real with you. The only reason why in the West a lot of Asian communities have an advantage is because of the Japanese themselves. That is literally the only reason why they have an advantage. because it's like, dude, I cannot get a Japanese person. Oh, I can. There's a pretty Chinese girl over there that I can try to strike up a conversation. It's kind of similar, isn't it? It's kind of like, yeah, but it's like, yeah, no, it's like, you're not going for the Japanese, you're going for the cute Chinese girl. And it's just kind of like, yeah, kind of, that's kind of true. So that's kind of like the thing when it's like, you have a lot of like, the Zillennials have become like the biggest imbeciles the world has ever seen, because you have them have children being fed into a tablet 24/7, a 5-year-old, 10-year-old, like around that range, and they are just being marinated to be sacrificed for the right time, for the right technocrat. I was like, that's kind of the thing. And a lot of people will be like, oh no, well, the Zillennials are kind of the problem. Yeah, the Zillennials need to fucking step up. And it's like, I kind of think about it in some perspective. And it's like, a lot of people are like, dude, the 90s were like, our generation, the boomers were like, oh dude, our generation was much cleaner, much nicer, much everything. But it's like, we kind of have to take into consideration that we had less people involved in everyday life, interacting socially with a person, and the only way that they had to interact in the level of the subconscious was through TV, basically. So to some degree, it's like, we have, before, they have less mental involvement in the growth of the human being around the 80s and the 90s, and it was like, but that also meant that there were much more terrible things behind the curtains, behind the carpet. So in the end, ultimately speaking, if we're actually being the most accurate to some degree, every generation has its problems and its own flaws. But the truth is that the Zillennials themselves are the biggest imbeciles of them all, because they think that Google is their brain. And because Google is their brain, they're the smartest person in the room, basically. So that's kind of the thing. And it's like, once we actually look at it from the tactical perspective of the mental cycles that all the Zillennials have gone through, and the entertainment that has been produced out of it, really, we kind of like end up with really, really dumb intellectual movements, where we have a lot of like radical feminists, where it's like, dude, let's make women hate men so much that they don't want to like interact with them so much anymore. Let's make them hate men so much that men become mentally ill. Let's make them mentally ill as a consequence, basically. Let's make like males hate being a dad to begin with. Let's make them hate it. Let's make them feel resentful. Let's make them feel everything bad about being a male to begin with. It's kind of like, once you kind of understand the technocrat agenda, well, not the technocrat agenda, but the agenda of some technocrats that fed people on purpose with intoxicating things in order for them to plan an ultimate move in the long play future in the world of like geo influence. You kind of look at it and you're like, well, ultimately speaking, really, they were imbeciles as well, because now they're reaping what they planted themselves. They have nations more divided, collapsing. They have communities that are actively looking to get as many sacrifices as possible to get a good public face and not care about the community itself, but to get the best face that their communities can get. And it's just like, when you look at it from that perspective, I kind of like sit down and on my chair, look at humanity and think, so what happened about this better good that we were talking about, really? What happened about our humanities? Because for people who claim to be the most human, they seem to behave like animals when they see somebody who is different from them to some degree. And it's like, from the white perspective, it's like, no, yeah, I have to be resentful, I have to repent, I have to be bad, I have to be better. And the Asian person doesn't look at it like that. You know what they look, what they see, the Asian person, you know what they see sometimes. This person's already, dude, it's like, dude, I can look better if these people are too fucking, if these people are too fucking stupid to self-loathe 24/7. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna take that advantage, and I'm gonna give them more rope so that they can hang themselves with. I'm gonna sell them the rope that they can hang themselves with, because now they can be repentful about their identity. You know? It's like, once you like kind of look at it from that perspective, kind of like, oh, so you're selling me the rope so I can hang myself with it. Yeah, that's totally cool. Like, I think that's a great thing. I really think that rope would look very nice around your neck. And it's like, when I look at it from that perspective, really, the only thing that I have left inside of my brain sometimes is just like, yeah, like, seems like you're not looking to make a community, really. You're just actively looking for other communities to buy the rope that they belong to, that they like, and to hang themselves with it whenever the opportunity arises, basically. It's like, oh, you like anime, you like all that shit? Dude, I love that shit as well. But it's like, my community doesn't shame me for it, but yours does. So you know what? Here is my favorite anime of all time. Go eat it up. Let me scoop it for you, so your white community can actually hang you publicly because you're doing something that your community doesn't like. So here you go. Here's your little rope so you can actually eat it. Yeah, come on, eat it. So the white man hangs you up in whenever he feels like you're kind of like a bad influence. And it's like, oh, okay. It's kind of like, that's kind of an interesting thought to begin with, because like, we kind of like look at it from the otaku community. It's like, dude, we're otaku. We kind of enjoy the same thing. But then we look at our communities behind us, and it's like, the communities behind us, they're like holding knives and pitchforks, and they're like, oh, sorry, dude. Like, I look like a hero to the otaku community because I purged somebody out of this kind of environment. But to your part of the community, they're about to fucking kill you. So you know what? That's kind of a good thing, you know? Like, sorry, it was not my intended purpose to sell you rope to hang yourself with. Really, that was kind of like the thing. That's a little bit sad, isn't it? Like, I'm sorry, dude. That's such a terrible thing to do, man. Oh no, yeah. You know what? Your rope around your neck looks so pretty that I'm gonna goddamn fucking going to Twitch. I'm gonna make a whole thing about like, oh yeah, you're kind of like a terrible guy. Oh no, I'm going to publicly shame you online telling you, yeah, this is not how you raise a woman, a person A. And it's like, oh, okay, yeah, sure. Okay, sure. And it's like, and there's like that pretty rope around your neck. So I was like, dude, you sold me this tie. Why is this tie like? Why can't I unclip my tie? And it's like, oh, don't worry about it. Don't fucking worry about it, man. Like, dude, we Cantonese people, we absolutely love people with like ties on top of them. Dude, you look beautiful with ties on top of you. Then you turn your back, pull out a shotgun, and they blow your brains out. I was like, that's the nastiest. That's the nastiest thing that there is, basically. Really. Like that's kind of like the fucking nasty aspect of like the otaku community, really, lately, that it's just like, yeah, it's doesn't make me very happy at all. It really doesn't. Because it kind of means that it's like, no, it's just, we just want the Japanese to be like, because we know the Japanese are very important to the entire world. We're gonna manipulate the Japanese so that they are in a harmonious way in our favor, basically. And it's kind of like, here's the thing when it comes to like Japanese culture, in particular, at least in Mexico over here, it's kind of like a medicine. Like, it was an everyday life type of quirk to watch Dragon Ball every single time when you got back from school, basically. It's like if you were a child on the early 2000s, that's what you did. You got out of school and you watched Dragon Ball, and then you went to bed. I mean, you did your homework, and then you went to bed, basically. And it's kind of like once you actually take a look at like what the industry has pointed towards, it's just like the Japanese influence becomes even more and more and more relevant to some degree. And it's like, whenever you look at it from that perspective, why is that? Because it's like, oh, Japanese people are always looking for the most harmonious, like, civilization without any chaos or anything. But it's but also like sometimes that is clouded with a lot of like really nasty behavior when it comes to like work culture, and it's just like, and it's like sometimes people get overworked to death. I mean, karoshi was kind of like a big thing around the 2010s, I think. And it's like, yeah, it got to the point where the Japanese were like, dude, we're not gonna die working to your company, basically. It's just like, no, fuck that. Like, screw that in particular. And it's like, the thing is, like, other Asian communities know that as well. Because it's like, dude, it's like, the Japanese people, they want harmony. So, like, if we make some shit up, yeah, we're gonna actually get like some fucking bullshit going. I was like, okay, yeah, sure. But like at the same time, why does that community have an alliance with another white dude as well, that is like ultimately hating people of anything that is not exactly like them? It's like, oh yeah, well, yeah, we can make a temporary alliance so we can sacrifice the right people. But accident. We sacrificed someone that we didn't need to sacrifice. Shit, what do we do? I just blame it on the Mexicans. It's okay. Blame it on the fucking Mexicans. Blame it on the fucking Mexicans. They are never going to be. They're always going to be the evil that is wrong in the world. So you know what? Blame it on the fucking Mexicans, because they're the responsibles for all the evils in the world. Yeah, do it. Fuck it. Do it. I was like, oh, okay. No, that's nice. No, that's awesome. Actually, yeah, no, totally. No, that's great. So, That's kind of how I look at it, basically. That it's just like, there has been too many fucking people during the 2010s era that generalized so fucking much that they showed their agenda by their sheer actions to begin with. The same way that the agenda was shown towards black people through the sheer actions that happened during the 80s, 70s, and 60s, basically. And it's like, when you look at it from that perspective, really, it's like, okay, yeah, we want to have a global collaboration system that we get things right and things work in the best of the sentiment. So, oh, why is everybody dying on the process? Oh. Oh. Dude, it's like, it's a sacrifice. It's like you suddenly look like Lord Fuckwad over here saying, oh, it's a sacrifice that I'm willing to make because I'm the king of the world. I'm a technocrat, and I'm willing to make the sacrifice of a few knights so they can actually go and chase my beloved and holy objective, which is to combine all of humanity into one melting pot. So some of you may die in the process, but it's such a sacrifice I'm willing to take. And it's like, they literally became Lord Fuckwad. Like, literally. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, no, it's just, suddenly speaking, it's like, oh, okay, technocrats. Why are there some technocrats kind of like painting their smiles, being like, dude, I did nothing wrong. It's not my fault. I just kind of ate a little bit, maybe a little bit too much, but it's not my fault. I'm just kind of like, okay, yeah, sure, whatever. So that's kind of the thing, really, when it comes to like life in general. It's just kind of like, when you look at the natural progression of things, it just becomes this kind of thing where it's just like, oh, okay. So it's okay when you do it, but when other people does exactly the same thing to you, kind of a problem. It's like, sometimes you even force people to fall into the pit. Sometimes you fucking force them. It's like, yeah, you force them to go into the pit so that they can be the sacrificial lambs to some degree, basically. It's like, I kind of sit down thinking to myself that it's like, oh, okay. So I was supposed to be a wormy that just dies off and melts, and whenever they die off, they melt the right people, don't I? Basically. That's kind of like, oh, okay. So what a very loving, affectionate thing to do to me, to the community and everything. What a nice thing to do, specifically. And suddenly I kind of said to myself, thinking, so about that humanitarian thing, so you're being the most humanitarian by shoving worms onto people so that they can die off and kill off the right people? So you're literally producing brain worms that will infect you and collapse onto you whenever they don't say exactly the things that you want to say. Oh, okay. No, yeah, no, I totally get it. Yeah, no, it's something very nice of you to do that. It's It's a very holy thing to do. It's for the better of the community. You must be a worm and die in the right time. Because if you do, you will kill all evil along with you. I was like, I kind of have to look at it and be a little bit, put my foot down a little bit and be like, yeah, no, like, the otaku community suffered as a consequence of all these kind of like face saving attributes to get the right person dead for the right action to take place, basically. Doesn't matter that they were not involved in any shape or form, but you're willing to use a worm to die all for the right cause. You're willing to make a martyr for the right cause. And you will give them the most beautiful flowers whenever they die. Because your guilt, well, I mean, let's be honest, some of these people are not guilty at all. They do not feel guilty. They do not feel any guilt. So, to some degree, I sometimes kind of look at kind of like the internet community of the the trolls of the internet community as the biggest fucking imbeciles the world has ever seen. Like, I'm gonna be real with you. You look like fucking imbecile, pathetic people because you got enough people eating themselves out in public. So much so that people are too scared to even have any kind of like social interaction with someone of the opposite sex. So much so that you make people paranoid and make people mentally ill further into that kind of mind state of permanent fear of the entire world. So to some degree, I kind of like sit down and I'm like, yeah, no, that's great, actually. That's a nice thing. That's awesome. Like, dude. Maybe the reality is that we have too many fuckwats walking around, basically. We have too many fucking fuckwats. So, anyway, yeah, it's like, it's way easier to make a worm to sacrifice than to teach somebody how to live and how to be happy. One of them is full of love, and the other one is full of vice and addiction. So which one is the one with love and which one is the one with addiction? I feel like it's a really easy question for people. But there are going to be some imbeciles who are going to say otherwise, basically. So, anyway, let's get to the game. Yeah. Cool. So yeah, to some degree, it's just like that is the thing that kind of like branded our generation, like the Zoomers and the Zoomers and Millennials. That a lot of us, we got treated as sacrificial lambs for a greater good, in theory, basically. A lot of us got put through the aspect of what having you on a screen constantly like really feels like at a young age, basically. It's like, and it's like to some degree we have evolved. Well, should I say, we have created cycles that involve us being in a screen more than in the outside world, due to the circumstances of like the times themselves, basically. So I kind of have to look at it from that perspective, rather than to be like, oh, hey, you're a normie, you're this, you're that, you're a fucking idiot, you're a person who doesn't know what they're talking about, or whatever the fuck, basically. It's kind of like, when I look at it from that perspective, really, it's like literally the Zoomers and the Millennials, we're being treated as sacrificial lambs of the Boomers and the Gen X. We are their sacrificial lambs. They treat us like hamsters. They treated us like hamsters to begin with. They told us to be naive and ignorant. And maybe they did it with good intention, to be like, hey, you're free, you can do whatever the hell you want. But at the same time, their actions have shown something else as well. Because their actions have shown the weight of the Generation X and the Boomers themselves, really. So, to some degree, the Millennial and the Zoomers, we have been treated like, again, we're treated like sacrifices for the generations that were not wrangled into cycles that are full of addiction, basically. As like, a lot of them are gonna be like, well, I did something good for humanity because I made them not go crazy during like a viral like situation, basically. Like, I saved them in the long run. It was the good thing to do. So we'll continue making them fall into addictive cycles so that they can actually like be forever tamed and wrangled, and give them prettier ropes so that they can hang themselves with at some point in time. Basically. I was like, yeah, that's kind of like the thing a little bit. Okay, yeah, sure, cool. So yeah, to some degree, I also have to look at it from the other side of the coin, really. Where even to this day, there's always people looking to make us fall into weird cycles to begin with. I was like, to some degree, really. This thing. Yeah, it's a little bit complicated because, like, when you look at it, it's just like the excuse is always for the better good, for the humanity that is a part of us, for all these things. And when you look at the education that really has gone through us to some degree, basically, I kind of find myself a little bit resentful, to be honest with you. So yeah, it's kind of difficult to be on the right about everything always, basically. But that's kind of the thing, really. It's... objectively looking at certain things, basically, is like... what is truly happening in the world at the moment. And then first I look at myself and think, why did I avoided going outside? Why did I hate humanity so much that I wanted to not be human myself? And it's like, you kind of have to look at it from that perspective, really. That it's like, don't you think that there are other human beings that want to be as inhuman as possible due to the sheer bullshit that they get fed through? And it's like, you kind of have to look at it from that perspective, really. That it's like, don't you think that there are other human beings that want to be as inhuman as possible due to the sheer bullshit that they get fed through? And it's like, you kind of have to look at it from that perspective, really. That it's like, don't you think that there are other human beings that want to be as inhuman as possible due to the sheer bullshit that they get fed through? Don't they wish humanity to vanish because of that idea, basically? And suddenly that childish thought of like exterminating humanity doesn't sound so alien anymore. It sounds like even a rational thought to some degree. Because it makes sense. One kind of has to look at the cycles that you go through and the cycles that are above you. And you're gonna have to look at it as an uphill battle constantly. Oh, dude, what the fuck? God damn it. Yeah, I guess I'm gonna have to run for my runes. Golden seed. Yep. Oh, what the fuck? Okay. Okay, cool. But yeah, that's kind of like the thing, really, sometimes, that I think no matter what we do, we won't be eternally happy, and if we are, we're probably doing something terrible to somebody at some point. And we never think about it, but maybe we do. Stone sword key, okay.
Everyone's been grafted. Everyone who came with me. They crossed the sea for me. They fought for me. Only to have their arms taken. Their legs taken. Even their heads taken. Taken and stuck to the spider. Did you know? If you're grafted by the spider, you become a chrysalid. It's quite a lark when you think about it.
Sitting sideways, okay, yeah, sure. Love ahead. Listen carefully. Okay, yeah, sure. So to some degree, I kind of have to look at it and be like, yeah, well, there's always bullshit happening, no matter what. Really. The world is full of castles and people trying to get the things that they want. It's just kind of the thing that it is sometimes. It's a tragic world sometimes, really. So, yeah, it is kind of a tragic world to begin with. Yep, basically. And then I think about my pleasures, and I'm like, yeah, well, probably my fucking pleasures probably drill a hole into the mental health of other human beings. So let's be honest. It's just like, yeah. It's like, yeah, that's kind of the thing a little bit. It's just, it's inevitable sometimes, this chaos. This chaos this tragic humanity that is a part of us is really like okay. Can I break it? No. Okay. Brass shield. Dude, what the fuck? Okay, yeah, cool. Yeah, no, that's great. So yeah, that's kind of the thing, really. It's, I mean, I'm gonna be really honest with you. It's just within my emotions, it's kind of like it is kind of painful and resentful to leave these kind of things like as they are, really, a little bit. Bows. Okay. So yeah, I mean, to some degree, it's weird specifically. Like, I don't know. I don't know, actually. Um,
Foul tarnished. In search of the Elden Ring. Emboldened by the flame of ambition. Someone must extinguish thy flame. Let it be Margit the Fell.
ow! Okay, yeah. Okay. Ouch.
Ambitions to rest.
So yeah, that's kind of the thing. It's just like the elders are always. I mean, let's be honest. Let's say it as it is. If an elder can get some 20-year-old fresh coochie, will he do it? Yeah, that's kind of the thing. Yeah. So I kind of have to look at it from that angle as well, really. So yeah, I kind of have to look at it from the perspective as like, yeah, well, what kind of group of people has one guy that has like 5 girls constantly, 6 plus? And then I kind of think about it and it's like, yeah, well, yeah.
These foolish ambitions to rest.
Okay, cool. All right, I got a new flask out of this. Okay, let's do that real quick.
Forgive me. I've been testing you to see whether or not grace truly does guide you, and whether you are fit to face the challenge that entails. It seems my worries were unfounded. Torrent had your measure from the very start, whereas I merely pretended. There is but one other thing I can do to offer you guidance. I can take you to the Round Table Hold, gathering place of tarnished champions, guided by grace.
Okay, well, no secret tier. Okay, cool. Another time I'll do that. But yeah, that's kind of the thing, really. Ow. Oh, what? Great, actually, yeah. So that's kind of the thing, really, when it comes to like life in general. Kind of weird, specifically. It's like, uh, it's like I sometimes look at shit and I'm like, dude, what's the right thing to do? I don't even know at this point. Like, really. I mean, I know what is the right thing to do for myself, so that's probably the Oh, what the fuck? So yeah, that's kind of like the thing. Whenever you see weakness a little bit, it's just kind of like, how do I look at it? It's like, why does self-loathing exist sometimes? Is it something that is part of you, or is it something that has been implanted into you? That's kind of like, yeah, that's kind of like the thing. Really. If we look at like Western media as well, a lot of Western media during the 2010s was filled with self-loathing. It was always about, oh, humanity was always a problem. The Fire Nation attacked, and the Fire Nation was a problem. And the Air Nation, like, I mean, a person being self-loathing that they couldn't do anything. Yeah, it's kind of like that, really. It's like, or maybe that's just I'm seeing the only things that I want to see. That's also another thing. Fuck me. Okay, cool. Yeah, sure, whatever. Something. Come at me, bro? Question mark. Ouch. Yeah, sure. So yeah, that's kind of the thing. Is like the reasons why I say things is because I kind of care to some degree. It's just like emotionally speaking, I guess I kind of do care about some communities, but it's just like that's why it hurts to say these things. Like, if I didn't care, I would just be like, hey, I don't give a shit about this community or whatever. But like, yeah, it's like part of me is I'm thinking about it, and it's like I kind of look at the engineering and functionality of things, and I'm like, yeah, there are some things that if I would used my empathy to the fullest extent, that's something that I would that I wouldn't really want to see, basically. So ouch. Okay, nice lag, nice lag. Ouch. So yeah, it's like sometimes I have to look at it from the perspective that, dude, everybody wants to be a hero, but in which way do you want to be a hero? Yeah, and it's like sometimes a hero kind of like, I don't know, that's weird shit, basically. Ouch.
Ambitions to rest.
So yeah, it's kind of weird specifically. It's just, I don't know. So, little Timmy, this is what happens when an old dick wants to get some young coochie. Literally.
Thou art of passing skill. Warrior blood must truly run in thy veins. Tarnished. These foolish ambitions.
Oh, god fucking damn it. Okay, cool. Awesome. Yeah, that's kind of the thing, really. It's kind of weird if we actually sit down to think about it. It's like kind of nasty and weird. God fucking damn it. Okay, yeah, sure. But yeah, that's kind of the thing. It's, I don't know. I feel like I don't have anything to add to that. It's just kind of weird, specifically.
Foolish ambitions to rest.
God damn it. Okay, yeah, sure. Ugh. Ow. Yeah, it's like, to some degree, if you look at it from some perspective, really, it's like, if you think at it from another angle as well, it's like our parents sometimes make us fight on purpose to resolve wars that are not ours as well. That's also another thing that kind of like has struck me a little bit, that it's just like, within the otaku community, are you like being used as a proxy so that you receive all the hatred and therefore get all the hatred of your generation, of your lineage, put into the right place as a ultimate hammer of justice against people who are against of your kind? And it's like, once you look at it from that perspective, it's just kind of like, yeah, that's also somewhat true. Whereas like, yeah, you as an individual, well, Selenials ourselves, we've just been used as weapons as well to make us fight each other to some degree. I mean, sometimes we do fight each other because of our selfish interest, but sometimes sometimes it's our parents' battles and it's not our own battles that we're fighting, basically. So I think that there's some layers of truth to that as well. Really, because it's like, yeah, I mean, it's like, if I actually think of it from some perspective, it's like the Italian, you know what the Italian mafia did back in the day? They would kill the children of their enemies so that they would never take revenge on them, basically. So it's like, that's kind of like the thing when it comes to like society, the society that we live in, basically. Our parents sometimes make their children get hurt on purpose just so they can have an excuse to fight with somebody and win. So that's kind of the thing, really. Like, sometimes our own parents or our own heritage makes us fight wars that are not ours, basically. And claim that it's for the better good, basically. So there's also some layer of truth to that, I think. It's like, are Selenials gonna have their own personal wars? Yeah, definitely, but it's like, at the same time, do we truly want to fight wars that are shoved onto us and have nothing to do with us? That's also another thing, really, that we kind of have to consider at times. There's some layer of truth to that, but yeah, kind of weird. It's like, that doesn't mean that Selenials are pure seeds of saint essence, but it just means that there's more motives for you to kind of like initiate conflict to begin with, basically. So it's like, yeah, that's kind of the thing a little bit. But it's like, yeah, that's kind of like the thing sometimes. We sometimes get shoved into groups just because there's so much bullshit that affects pillars of the community, basically, if you think about it from some perspective. It's like, if our pillars of the community kind of like collapse, what do we have in the end? Nothing. God fucking damn it. Okay, yeah, sure.
Rest.
So yeah, that's kind of the thing a little bit. It's just, it's not perfection through everything. It's just like, that's again, tragedy after tragedy after tragedy, whatever. Yeah, you get what I mean, exactly.
Thou art of passing skill. Warrior blood must truly put these
Oh, God fucking damn it. Okay. So yeah, that's kind of weird. Specifically, it's like it's like no matter what you do, people are gonna take it that there's gonna be malice attached to it, and yeah, that's kind of the thing, really. Like, you don't like as a person, I don't intend to be malicious, but at the same time, it's just kind of like. But you do know that your existence is being used in a malicious way, because they know how to pull your strings and they know how you are to behave, and you know that you're a weapon to them, the same way that I'm a weapon to mine, basically, to some degree. It's like that's kind of like the thing when it comes to like our community. Sometimes that's like, oh yeah, well, we kind of do need our clerics and like our healers, basically, to some degree. Really. And like, I kind of have to look at it from this perspective as well. So let's see that there's a male cleric out there that is gonna be like, hey, I'm very good at what I do in my job. I'm good at healing. And you know what? You're kind of being nasty. So you know what? I think that I would rather that I'm the only healer and you're not the healer. So yeah, you better step the fuck back. And it's like, from that perspective, I kind of like sit down a little bit. And I'm thinking, yeah, well, I think that's just a personal conflict that I have from that person. It's like, is that person gonna decide to summon their entire gang in order for me to get like punched out? And it's kind of like, yeah, let's see what that works out. Basically, is he gonna be a coward, or is he gonna be like, oh yeah, low guts, 10 people on top, fully beaten, never defeated, strong together, monkeys together strong, or whatever. I was like, yeah, that's kind of like the thing. Is like, is he going to be dishonorable for the sake of having a victory? And it's like, yeah, sometimes people do that, basically. And the truth is, most likely, people were so dishonorable. Like, let's be honest. God fucking damn it. Okay, yeah, sure. Okay, sure. So yeah, it's kind of weird. Specifically, sometimes it is what it is when it comes to when it comes to those things. A little bit. Ouch. God damn it, dude. That is so nasty in particular. Yeah. So yeah, altogether, I kind of have to look at it from some aspects, really. That it's like, psychologically speaking, people are really what they do sometimes. It's like the cycles that they've been, like, hatched in are kind of like the cycles that they will develop later in life. And it's kind of like, if I analyze specifically, a person who is constantly collecting masks into his wall will have a daughter that will have so many masks to hide in that, ultimately speaking, they will no longer have anything else but the mask themselves, as they are the cycles that they have been put through to some degree, basically. It's like, once I kind of look at it from that perspective, it's just kind of like, yeah, or like a son that has like that kind of thing. Yeah. But yeah, okay, maybe I shouldn't, but here's the thing: when it comes to, like, when you make like some kind of like supply, well, yeah, it's weird, it's complicated. I don't exactly know. Well, I don't like. I feel like I'm emotionally not attached enough to understand the complicated aspect of some kind of supply chain, but yeah, whenever I look at a supply chain that kind of like forces things onto that supply chain and then you get out of it, it's just kind of like, it kind of makes it weird, really, like what the behavior is like. So yeah. Yeah, actually, now that I think about it, they did affect another camp as well, didn't they? They did! What the fuck? I just realized! They did attack another camp! And what do these two camps have in common? There it is, dude, what? Oh my fucking god, wow, okay. Yeah, no, that's cool, I guess. Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah, it's like a certain camp is always going to build an exit. That's understandable. That's always going. They're always going to technically do that. And they're gonna shove as many breadcrumbs as possible so that becomes a thing, surely. But when we actually look at what is actually happening, huh? And what is being destroyed in particular, and what is being shoved into replacement, you start looking at a couple of patterns in particular, really. Don't you? Because at that point you're kind of like observing and you're like, oh, wait, so why is it suddenly that a lot of things that kind of like are homogeneous by nature, why are those things only getting hit and not the ones that are saving face in particular? I was like, there's some truth to that to some degree, I think. So that's kind of the weird thing in particular, really. And once you kind of look at it from other perspectives as well, every culture has moral values. One only cares about power. One only cares about power and saving face in particular. Or at least they don't have like a vastly established moral value compass to begin with. So it's kind of like,
Thou art of passing skill. Warrior blood must truly run in thy veins. Tarnished. Put these foolish ambitions to rest.
That's a weird thing to think about, actually. Uh, Of course.
Foolish ambitions to rest.
Yeah. God damn it. It's like that is kind of like the biggest problem when it comes to like tactical knowledge. It's just like when we actually observe the monumental movements that have happened specifically and the consequences that have happened as a consequence, we kind of have to look at it as to who gets affected and who gets pointed fingers at as the culprit of everything, really. There's like one thing is to spontaneously do it, and another one is to save and marinate an idea until it's unleashed. Because at that point, you're not talking about spontaneous combustion. You're talking about a plan to begin with. An expertly calculated plan to begin with. It's like, once you actually look at it from that perspective, yeah, that's a little bit of a thing. God damn it, every single time, dude. Yeah, it's like to some degree the symbols don't really matter at this point. The actions are what the results of the actions are what matter the most at this point. And it's like once we have cooked, I have observed enough cooked information to get to the conclusion that it's just like there's a constant pattern with all the chaos that has happened, and the pattern is it smells a lot like something in particular, really. So yeah. And given the context, the historical context of the 2020s, well, God damn it.
Ambitions to rest.
And it's like in truth, what is truly happening when it comes to like certain influences to begin with? we kind of have to observe what is truly happening in the sphere of influence as well. Why is influence taking another direction in particular? Why is it trying to detach itself a little bit so it has its own isolated identity a little bit? And you're kind of like, seems more of a mental pool. It's like if I actually look at it in the most sane way possible, when it comes to like mental health, what person is going to require a medicine that is more accurate to them and does not affect them when they're removed from someone that has otaku medicine attached to it? And when you look at it from that perspective, you kind of have to look at it as a surgery in a particular way, a social surgery. Is the social surgery of someone who is not deeply attached to the otaku community gonna affect you? And if it does, how exactly? Yeah. Could it be possible that someone was swimming up in a pool of medicine that does not affect them in the slightest if they were removed out of a place or another one? And the truth is, very likely they were sitting inside of a pool that didn't affect them for a long time, and until now it started affecting them to some degree. So now I'm kind of like taking things as the way that they're being sung the entire time. It's like if I take the singing cards in front of me, what does that tell you in particular? It is kind of like if I look at it from an angle perspective of the medicine itself that has been detached from the main hospital, I have to observe the main hospital and observe the surgery that has happened. What was the surgery that was taken out of the otaku community in the main tree? And you kind of look at it and you're like, there are different aspects of medicine that have been taking place with certain values in particular. And they're very specific, they're very unique in their own regard, basically. Do they all share a connection to some degree? Is there a common factor to them beyond the community itself? I was like, that's a very, very possible thing. But I don't have enough information to jump into conclusions, basically. But the reality is the attack tower that was put into place was favoring the otaku community to some degree. That tower is now destroyed. So now that we see the ashes of the tower that burnt down, what are the other towers saying now that that tower in particular has vanished? Are they saying something similar, or are they avoiding everything to begin with? And if they are, what is the message that they're saying? So, in a territorial way, in the tactics of the otaku community, we kind of have to look at it from that perspective and be like, what otakus are being mentally affected the most by the movements that have taken place? Which regions are affected? And if they are affected, how much geographically does that affect the mental health that they are a part of? How does it affect them economically as well? Because if their medicine suddenly becomes too expensive, then you're setting yourself up for destruction to begin with. So a medicine that was free by nature suddenly becomes expensive. If that expensive medicine becomes too expensive, how are you gonna get it without overrunning your own kingdom in its place? And if you look at it from this perspective, what about the British otakus to begin with? Suddenly, they've been bombarded with isolating medicine out of their own minds. Tactically speaking, that is one step forward to the derangement of the British soil as well. Because even although that it's a surgical procedure, you do not remove the heart of individuals and expect them to continue living. So we kind of have to look at it from that perspective. That is like, there are some movements in particular that do not make quite a lot of sense. But when you look at them from another angle, when you look at the blood that they're made of, who's truly being affected when you isolate, I don't know, free medicine that has been in a loop for 10 years? You go into a withdrawal, you go into a rampage even sometimes, when you don't get your medicine, your mental reinforcement over what your reality truly is like. So I have to be a little bit honest towards the British otaku and be like, you see what is happening? Actually, do you see exactly what is happening everywhere? Why does it seem that you're the one who is most affected out of this situation? Why? Why exactly? Why is the thinking patterns behaved in such a way, basically? Why did it fall this way in particular? Was it a coincidence? Or is there something else? And it's kind of like, yeah, you kind of have to consider a little bit that it's just like, yeah, a little bit. So that's the thing that we're kind of like looking at, because one thing is a finger touched a specific key in the keyboard to get one individual purified. But if that individual is attached to something much greater and it affects them, and you still commit to the bit, that sounds like something much more deeper than we think it is, actually. Like, it could be, actually. Like, I'm not erasing that possibility of actions taking place, basically. God fucking damn it, okay. But yeah, it kind of makes me think that it's just like maybe not generalized too much, but there is some level of truth to the values attached to those. And who are truly the puppets being pulled? Actually, yeah, it kind of sounds like maybe the branch is not the problem, but the tree, the tree that has a branch on top of it. Maybe there's something there that I'm not aware of, basically.
Thou art of passing skill. Warrior blood must truly run for these
God fucking damn it, okay.
best.
So yeah, that's kind of like the thing when it comes to like certain aspects of life, really. Is like I just don't have enough information to know what is really happening, but the signals are telling me something in specific, and it's the strategy is to detach the mental health aspects out of the authentic and create something similar but not exactly the same to some degree, so you can actually still have some level of foundation attached to that, including the familiarity of the past along with the present itself. So when I look at it from that perspective, it's just kind of like, yeah, right. So what exactly are we looking at that point, basically? Really, it's like, huh. And you know what's also another thing that kind of occurred to me? What if somebody just really did a really bad job at the very beginning? Like a really fucking bad job at the very beginning, basically. What if it was just that, specifically? Yeah. I think that's also part of the truth. That somebody did a terrible job at what they did. A little bit. Maybe. I think there's some truth to that. Yeah, I think that's also part of the thing. Really. Are convenient. No, it's just like the more that I kind of analyze it, the more I'm like, no, it sounds very convenient. It's way too convenient to some degree, basically. And it's kind of like, yeah. Or it's like, it could be such a terrible job that it almost looks convenient, basically. That's also, that also could be part of it, honestly. Or it's like, or it could be like, oh yeah, you did a terrible job, but now it's your work for you to save face the best way possible. Like, yeah, that could also be the thing, really. Like, it could have been an accident from the very beginning, and it could have been like, hey, yeah, yeah, so, yeah, an accident that was so costly that it broke the entire world as a consequence. Yeah, maybe a little bit. Maybe there's some truth to that. It's not that it's like, oh, it was all planned or everything, but it could be also a little bit of like, yeah, no, things kind of unraveled themselves to some degree. And yeah, because they unraveled themselves in some degree, it's just kind of like, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of the thing. It's like the more that I think about the system itself, it's just like the more I kind of like look at it from a competitive perspective. And it's like the more that I look at it from the competitive perspective, it's just like whenever you're competing, basically, you're gonna look for any excuse to make things not work in some shape or form. And it's just like, yeah. But it's like I didn't know that people were so petty to such a degree to take it to the next level. And they use people as shields constantly to some degree. So it's kind of like, yeah, it's weird. Specifically, yeah. Yeah, it's kind of weird. God damn it, okay. So yeah, to some degree, that's kind of like the thing when it comes to like effects of the subconscious when it comes to information coding and programming to such a degree, basically, that it's just kind of like, in which depth does that, how far can that go to some degree, basically? Because like the human brain doesn't necessarily need some level of human bonding in order for it to be like mentally healthy to some level. But it's like, to which level do you take it so the subconscious doesn't get too affected to behave in a way that the consciousness does not support it in an accurate manner, basically? It's like, yeah, it's like if you're not even aware within your own consciousness that your subconscious is being manipulated to some degree, it's like, how do you know at that point, specifically? So yeah, that's kind of the thing a little bit, because from my understanding, we do have subconsciously gathered symbols within our cultures themselves, and we give importance to those kind of things to some degree, basically, because of our active, conscious understanding of the world. But along with it, there's also like subconscious aspects that makes our mind react to things out of sheer repetition of something. And if it's like, if we actually look at the repetition and the psychological aspects of that repetition, do we, and we force that, though, that cycle, so it becomes the most broken machine in the entire world, so you can force people into actually thinking something that they do not wish to think about, basically. At that point, you're kind of like talking about like mental torture that makes a non-consensual manipulation of the mind to such a degree that makes your mind mentally ill on purpose for the benefit of the greater good, for a very bad job made by an establishment of another entity, basically. So it's kind of like, how deep can one subconsciously manipulate the human mind so it can behave in a particular way to a favorable outcome in a geographical movement chess game? It's like, when you look at it from that perspective, it's very, very malicious, like extremely dishonorable and malicious to some degree, basically. And we kind of have to look at it from the perspective of the psychological aspect. It's like, one does not really... If you are truly to be helpful and to be an educator, you reinforce the right ideas. You do not reinforce ideas that generalize people to begin with. And it's like, okay, let's go with that for a second, basically. Have we still been seeing a lot of like reinforced ideas that reinforce the aspect of being a collective rather than being an individual? And it's like, yeah, within communities themselves, there are so many entities that thrive in that mental manipulation to say that, culturally speaking, your ethnicity is inherently your culture to begin with. And it is a hilarious joke to begin with, but at the same time, it's like, okay, yeah, sure, that reinforces that is a natural unleash, a natural manifestation of things, sure. But at the same time, it's like, okay, but like from a psychological standpoint, are you truly encouraging some kind of like cycles that make people healthier, smarter, better themselves? And it's like, you really aren't to some degree, basically, because you're being dishonest about the whole thing and reinforcing ideas that make your community be even more self-loathing by how isolationist they are to the rest of the community of the country that you're in. So to some degree, it's kind of like, yeah, sure, it makes total sense in the medical standpoint, because that's kind of like the ideas that you meet, and that's the experiences that you meet through. But at the same time, it's just like it's a convenient. It's sometimes it's kind of a little bit of a psychological convenient tool for a negative reinforcement of things that don't really make sense to begin with. So yeah, it's kind of like a weird thing if we actually look at it from that perspective. God damn it, dude. Okay, I'm gonna chill for a little bit. Fuck this, dude. I'm gonna chill for a little bit. God damn it, dude. It's weird. It's weird in particular. It's like today's like stream has been riddled with so many fucking things. And it's just like, dude, I don't know how to put it. I don't know how to put, I mean, yeah, it's like some of these ideas don't put my mind to rest because it makes me think that there's some other layer beyond just sheer selfishness to begin with. And it's just kind of, well, it's not selfishness even. Like, selfishness would be to abandon everything and just be like, hey, I'm on my merry way to just leave the world. Goodbye, everybody. Fuck yourself. That would be a level of selfishness. That would be selfishness itself. But I'm kind of doing the opposite to some degree at this point, basically. And it kind of makes me think that a little bit to myself, that it's just like, yeah, it's like once I kind of like stepped out of my the prince type of mentality that is just like I know nothing, therefore I am free of anything that is bad done to me to some degree, basically. It's like once I kind of like got out of that mentality and I started thinking objectively about the situations that we go through in life to some degree, I kind of go around and I kind of like look at the hypocrisy that is kind of like constructed within our own standards. And the reason why that is because, like, I mean, let's be honest, if you're an old dick and want some young coochie, that's what you do sometimes. You kind of like humiliate the right people, basically. And it's like, yeah, that's kind of the thing. It's like, it's like again, it comes back to the premise that it's like the world is a huge high school. There's gonna be the bimbo that is too attractive, but it's a little bit dumb. There's gonna be the fun girl. There's gonna be all that kind of thing, and it's just like you just kind of have to look better by comparison to some degree, basically. And it's like, oh, okay, yeah, well, let's humiliate the dude that is kind of like, that seems kind of chill. Okay, let's do that. Therefore, now I look better by comparison. Really. That's kind of like, yeah, like objectively speaking, in the most humanitarian way, I have to look around and be like, oh, yeah, no, you're just chasing coochie at this point. You're still chasing coochie and you still don't have enough because that's what you do. That's you're a dude that is always chasing coochie, so therefore you must continue chasing coochie. Basically. That's kind of like, yeah, that's kind of the thing when it comes to like the human nature in particular, when it comes to like excess and the contrast between excess and vice and all that kind of thing. It's just kind of like, yeah, you really do need a little bit of a you need balance between both, because like inevitably if you eat too much, it's just gonna be like a little bit of a pain in the fucking ass. Really, it's gonna be a pain in the goddamn ass. Ugh. Okay. Yes, safe game. Okay, cool. But yeah, anyway, I'm gonna chill for a little bit because it's it kind of makes me realize that it's just like, okay, it's not. Sometimes it's not that things were planned, but sometimes things are too perfect. Like sometimes you let me put it in some perspective. Sometimes you look at a hole and it's like, oh, look at this hole. It was made for me. And you look at the uncanniness of how well made that hole was made for you. And you're kind of like, yeah, you're a little bit suspicious about that. That's kind of suspicious in its own way. It's like, is there something more beyond this that I'm not aware of, basically? And it's like, yeah, maybe there is some level of misunderstandings in that level, and we kind of have to be a little bit aware of what is truly happening in those layers, because when it comes to like a dishonorable like act to some degree, it's just like, okay, if I'm seeing that you're charging on that shotgun shell in front of me, what am I gonna do exactly? What am I gonna react to? What am I gonna say exactly? I'm gonna say, well, this person kind of hates me, or this person's kind of jealous, or this person just has something against me, basically. It's like, okay, yeah, sure. Okay, so let's analyze and see their behavior and see what's happening. And it's like, once you actually look at it from that perspective and the context attached to it, and the destruction that comes along with it, and the psychological aspect that they need to create an identity so that they can have some kind of leverage within themselves beyond what the community has to offer to begin with, you kind of like end up in that situation where you're just like, let's analyze the cycles that they belong to, let's see the result of those cycles, and let's see what they have built up before those cycles. And you have your answer as to why things are dysfunctional to some degree, basically. Because it's like, because in its own way, that's kind of like the nasty aspect of like, that's a nasty aspect of like having too many mental patterns that are like actively looking to destroy people in the worst way possible, basically. It like that is kind of like the biggest problem, and it's not that it's unique to one group or another one, but it's just like inherently speaking, we kind of like shield ourselves in such a degree that it's just like, oh yeah, well this group kind of makes this kind of shield pattern, therefore they must be the culprit of something. And it's like, not necessarily. It's like the individuals are the ones who are like specifically making those patterns to begin with. There are individuals out there who make patterns themselves, and they do it out of their individual selfish desires, basically. And it's like, and those patterns shield themselves in the light, and they hide in the lights and the shadows by doing so, basically. So that's kind of the thing, really. That's kind of like the thing when it comes to like life in general. Like, it's dude, it's like, to some degree, I'm the kind of person that is like, okay, you want to make the community like a great place, right? You want to make the community sit comfortably, to have a comfy community. And I know that because I watched you for years. So why exactly are you turning face whenever something bad whenever there's that kind of thing happening? Like, do you get what I mean? It's just like this whole ordeal of you wanting to have the best face possible made you potentially make the community itself go through unreal amounts of pain because you wanted to be the hero of the story to some degree. And you wanted your community to be the hero of the story so they are the leaders that lead that kind of movement to begin with. It's like, and it's like, okay, yeah, sure, cool, that's awesome. You care about the community, but it's like, you do realize that by doing that, you're potentially harming everybody else in the otaku community as a consequence by doing so. We don't care. We want to save public face, and we want to be the heroes of this story so deeply that we're gonna play dumb. And it's like, at that point, I just squint my eyes, look at you closely, and I just go, bitch, what the fuck happened to the whole comfy ambience community, dude? Why the fuck are you what happened to that comfy ambience? Why the fuck are you publicly executing people by humiliating them in such a degree that makes them unable to return into the community in some shape or form? It's like, okay, yeah, sure. There's one thing to be like, okay, yeah, this is kind of like a bad thing to the community. Another one is to be like, hey, let's make this the most painful way possible, so that they kind of look at the Mexican otaku community and they see it as something that must be exterminated and something that must forever be outside of it. It's like, to some degree, you kind of like sit down and you're like, huh? So that whole comfy vibes type of deal was a fucking lie, basically. That's what you're saying. Is like, it's comfy because your community is the one that is comfy, but my community is not comfy because, like, we kind of have to fight for that shit at that point, basically. Even though that I thought that we were cool, but apparently we're not cool. Just like, okay, yeah, sure, whatever. We're so uncool that you're also affecting another community beyond mine because you wanted to have the throne of everything. What? Like, that's like that whole castle of confidence that I kind of grew up with for years suddenly looks like the biggest fucking hypocritical lie I've ever seen. And I just see a bunch of man whores saying that everything is okay and that, dude, we're just making things comfy. I was like, oh, for you, for everybody else, we need to be in rags, and we don't need visual novels, we don't need fucking like manga, we don't need an anime, we don't need that shit, we don't need VTubers, we don't need that shit. Because you're the ones who have the torch and we don't. So therefore you're gonna make us behave in a fucking shitty way, in particular. Oh, okay, yeah, no, that makes me feel very, very happy that you're in the lead, basically. And that makes me happy that you care so much about the otaku community, that you pushed every single otaku brain to the limit because you wanted to be on top of the Western Hemisphere of the otaku community. It's like, okay, dude, fuck off. Like I'm gonna be real with you. Step the fuck down. I think you're done. I think you've had enough, really, at some point. Because I think that there's some level of personal responsibility where it's like, oh, dude, I have a harem of like 6 chicks, and we do content every now and then on camera, and we're gonna hire some DEI so we don't look that kind of shitty as well. I was like, okay, yeah, well, your public face, that's your public face. You know what it has been saying this entire time? It's okay when we do it, but it's terrible when you do it specifically. Yeah, it's okay when we do it, but when you do it, no, you're the worst person in the fucking world, and you need to be publicly humiliated in the public eye. That's what you that's the world that you belong to. And it's like, huh? Okay, yeah. No, that's sweet. Honestly. I don't I don't know. I don't know how to feel about that, honestly, because like we're gonna care about this community deep enough, and you're like, oh yeah, well no, because like you're gonna steal some Asian coochie out of us, and it's just like, I mean, yeah, I'm chasing Asian coochie because that's kind of the whole point to some degree, actually. To some level, it is kind of the point, but at the same time, it's just kind of like, bitch, you have like a gaming house with like 6-7 chicks, and you're going for more, and you're complaining that you don't get that you don't have enough of a public face to show. Dude, eat my ass, actually. Dude, eat my dick at that point. It's like, oh no, actually, you know what? I'm going to take my dick out, and you're gonna have to suck it because, like, fuck you. Really, fuck you in specific. So yeah, it's like, I don't know what to tell you, but it's like, it seems that I'm not the only one that got a shotgun shell shot into my goddamn skull, apparently, from the looks of it. So like, I don't know what to tell you specifically, but seems to be that way. Anyway, so yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that specifically. Like, I'm not the kind of person that really likes to I mean, I'm the kind of person that is empathetic, and it's like, dude, like you're an otaku, I get it, because like I've read manga, I've read doujinshi manga, whatever the fuck. I've played visual novels, and we know what we like to some degree, because we grew up in the 2010s, and we know exactly what we kind of enjoy. So why the fuck is it a problem that I'm Mexican and that I'm part of this community? It's like, it doesn't make sense, really. Or it does, or maybe it's not that kind of thing, or it's just like, my individuality is too much, makes you too uncomfortable. That is making you like be a little bit of a pissy boy, and it's like, yeah, probably that's kind of a thing. Like, my love and affection has had its limits, because from what it looks like, my love and affection, not only did it make people stab me deeply in countless ways to become to such a degree that almost to become a martyr, but people continue loading out shotgun shells into the channel as I speak. It's like, okay, so maybe the problem is not that I'm being affectionate or that I'm being compassionate. The problem maybe is that there's hatred between that person and me. And then maybe that's just the problem. Maybe that's just as simple as that, basically. It's like, it doesn't matter if I'm making jokes, it doesn't matter if I'm like being nice to people, it doesn't matter if I'm like coming back, it doesn't matter if I'm like streaming, it doesn't matter if I'm doing all this shit. To you, it's just I'm a poison to you, because suddenly I'm the problem to you, basically. Like, specifically. It's like, because I was a submissive little bitch before, I was not a problem. But now that I'm not a submissive little bitch, now I'm a problem. And it's like, okay, I don't know, dude. I don't know about that one. I don't know about that one, to be honest with you. Like, it hurts me to kind of like think about it from that perspective, but it's sad. It makes me sad to begin with. So anyway, I'm gonna wrap it up here. Tomorrow, it's Terraria Tuesdays. Maybe I'll beat Duke Fishron. If we do, that's cool. Awesome. So anyway, I'll see you tomorrow. Sorry if I cut today's stream a little bit short, but yeah, I feel a little bit better, personally speaking. It's just I feel like I needed to get that shit out of my chest because, like, I don't know, like, the more that I observe it, the more I'm like, dude, it's like, it's bullshit to some degree, basically, because it's like, when we actually see the problems that are happening and the problems are like too permanent, I kind of like sit down a little bit and I'm thinking, yeah, maybe the problem is just that the problems are permanent, really, to like a lot of people. Maybe the problem is the public humiliation that you make people go through so you can save face, basically. Maybe that's the problem, specifically. Because as far as it goes, the otaku community has been affected the most over the last 2 years because of that, basically. So yeah, that's kind of the thing. And it kind of makes me think that it's just like, I don't know specifically what actually happened. If like it was actually something, like something terrifying, because from what I'm witnessing, it could be something very, very terrifying that happened. But you know, I mean, because like I'm the kind of person that doesn't get scared very easily. Like I'm gonna be real with you. But it's like, once I actually sit down to think about it, it's like, dude, what if it was something very, very fucking spooky, very, very fucking terrifying, and I just powered through it because of reasons, basically. What if I went through the most terrifying road a human being can go through, and came out alive, and I'm just downplaying it because I don't get scared easily. I was like, yeah, maybe that's kind of the thing as well. So yeah, that's kind of like the thing in specific. So anyway, I'll see you tomorrow for Terraria. Have a good one. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.